Well, it's summer, baby. So we're gonna get into some tips and tricks for planning for a road trip if you choose to do that. Have a 3-year-old, so I try not to road trip. But even if you're going to fly, whatever, just some traveling tips and advice. But we're gonna hit on some driving and whatnot. They say that you should always start your podcast with an engaging story, right? To really reel the listeners in, right? So I'm going to tell you a work story because everyone seems to like cop stories, right? Okay. It's really lame. But, working, and it's late, and there's a whole family traveling through the metro area, and they get in the crash, very unfortunate, and their whole van is, like, loaded down with, like, I think everything they own, right? And they're not they're traveling through, and they didn't have, like, their insurance didn't cover the whole, hey, I can call you, get me a ride and a rental car and whatnot. So now you got a family, no car because it's completely totaled, it had to be towed. Well, all their stuff's in it, and they need their stuff because they have kids, and I have one car, and it was a Charger with no extra storage space. You guys know it's like it's your office, so there's no space. I think I made like 5 trips from the collision scene to a hotel, back to the collision scene, back to a hotel. Finally got them, settled. But unfortunately, this isn't like the only time that's happened. I'm sure you guys have worked across this where people have been traveling and they don't have anywhere to go, and they might not even have money. So this is one I really wanted to hit on because I get, like, finances, can be strapped and whatnot, but having a plan, like, what are you going to do? Like, do you even think about that before you start out on a road trip for whatever reason? Like, what are you going to do if your car breaks down, if you get in a crash, when you're thinking about an insurance policy, maybe getting something that covers, should you get in a crash and be stranded? Things to think about, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, people break down on the side of the road, not just crash. I mean, if you're broke down on the side of the road, you're stranded there. What are you going to do? I don't know how many people realize it. Like you said, our car is our office. I mean, when I had a Charger, I only had 1 seat, maybe 2 seats if I'm lucky, and I can squeeze everybody in. I've had multiple people sit on each other's laps to try and get you off the interstate. Like,
get them somewhere safe.
Yeah, that car's packed for work. You got weapons, tools, paperwork.
And I'm not even gonna lie, like, it would make me so grumpy, like, just for you guys to know, like, inside, like, obviously I want to help and everything, but you guys know how I am about my car. Like, my operating system is set up perfectly, like, I know where everything's at, and then when something that happens, I'm like, God, like, internally I'm like, my whole system is messed up now, and the whole time, like, I'm giving people rides and changing things around. I'm like, God, it's going to take me forever to get it all set back up, and it's just extra stressful.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Everything's there for a reason. Yeah. Even the angle of your passenger seat.
Right.
Don't touch my seat. It's there for a reason.
Right. Mm-hmm. Or when your partner borrows your car and they mess with, I always tell them, like, you can borrow my car. Don't mess with the seat. You can move it back and forward, but don't mess with the seat. Because it takes you forever to get it.
We'll change the computer.
Yes.
Why would you do that?
Oh, right. And then you have to fix it, and it takes forever, and I just get so grumpy about it.
If you borrow something, put it back how you found it.
Right. Okay.
All right, so planning for the trip. What do we do?
Oh, man. First you got to figure out where you're going. Random road trips to nowhere are usually fun until something happens. And then you're like, I don't know where we are. I don't know where the closest town is. I don't know anything. I don't have cell phone service. You got to figure out where you want to go.
That, and then, hopefully you already have a plan. I mean, Tony is a spontaneous traveler, so there might be some listeners that are like, I don't know, I just get in the car and drive, because he literally does that. Yeah. But for me, no, I definitely have a plan. I'm a planner. My spouse is a planner. But we also can't tolerate our 3-year-old in our car for an extended period of time, so we tend to fly. But with that being said, I'm going to hit on something that's near and dear to my heart. Please look for the construction zones in your travel. please look and see, hey, if the road is closed, I need to have a different route. Even if you're from the area or you are passing like general area of the metro and there's construction, if the sign says road closed, it's road closed. That doesn't mean you can move it. And if a cop is sitting there and it says road closed, yes, it means that. You'll have to find a different route around. I believe it or not, like, and this isn't to be like mean or hateful, it's just interesting to me how many people don't know how to find a different route. Like, how many times people will say, my phone told me to come this way. And I'm like, okay, but this is, closed. You're going to have to find a detour or follow the detour signs. Or if you keep going, you can hit the next exit and turn around. Stuff like that. And, it opens the door to other things, like how much we rely on our technology. And, like, instead of being able to look at our map and find a different route. But even then, imagine that in an area that you aren't familiar with. So you don't really know any detours or you don't know the area. So if you can plan that out in advance as far as you can, like to see, hey, is there any construction zones through this route? Is there a better way I can take so I can just avoid it? Or if I have to go through it, like, what's a better route? Like, educate yourself on the area. Because, and I think if you talk to any cop, they will tell you it's really hard when you're on a construction shift with a lane closed. How many people ask you if the lane is closed?
Yeah. Can I still get through here?
No.
It's closed.
Yeah, the majority of my shift is spent saying, no, it's still closed. Like, and there'll be a sign that says,
Road closed.
Exit
There'll be
closed.
all of these orange
Right.
cones that are blocking the lane.
our car's
Our
blocking
car
it,
there with the lights on blocking the lane.
and people will still stop and say,
And that's if they stop
Yeah.
to you. Or they'll just go past you, drive through the cone, and then try and
yeah. So
not
if you're
hit
a
the
person
workers.
that does that, trust us when the lane is closed or we say, road closed, whatever. It's definitely for a reason, and there's most likely people out there that you could run over or you could harm yourself or someone else. Or there might not even be a section of road there. Like, there's been times that, like, they literally have ripped up the whole road. Or it's a bridge they're working on, and they've taken up the road on the bridge. Like, you will literally drive off of it. And so, like, yeah, I know there are times where it gets annoying because traffic gets backed up. Trust me, I understand. But it is blocked for a reason. Okay.
yeah. Don't stop in the middle of the road. Technology is great. You can see the route. It gives you multiple routes. Just continue driving and your GPS will actually update for you.
Yeah.
So you
True.
can,
It does do that.
if you're lost, drive the speed limit, drive to a safe place to pull over, and it'll automatically update for you. It's crazy.
Technology's cool.
It is.
So after we plan the trip, what do we do next? We vehicle prep.
Yeah, you got to get your vehicle prepped. Countless times. How many times have you guys been called to a motorist assist where they had a flat tire?
Yeah. And they didn't know how to change it or something.
Yeah, or you get there and
Yeah.
it's like there's no tread left on this tire.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get, like, sometimes financial stuff, I get it. Like, you might not have any money and you need to get somewhere or it's urgent. I understand, and things like that happen and it's terrible and you really don't feel like you have a choice. Like, I definitely understand those situations.
I mean, it's like a pre-trip inspection. I mean, I learned it growing up from my parents.
Yeah.
I think we rely on technology a little too much now.
Yeah.
And you need to do your pre-trip. You need to check your brakes, check your tires, check your oil, check your gas levels. There's this
Please
little
watch
thing
it. Please watch
that
it.
goes up and down. It's 2025. I don't know any car that doesn't have that.
Yeah,
It'll
that
tell you
needs
how
to
much
be-
gas you have.
That needs to be on anything but the E.
Yeah.
If you think you're running low too, like if you're like, oh, I'm getting kind of low on gas, I don't really know the area, stop before, like, stop then where there's a gas station and get gas. Even if you're like, I could go a little bit further, don't. Like, just stop because you don't know the area, you don't know how long it'll take. Like, we work in a stretch of road that goes from two major cities and there's not really much in between, right?
Mm-hmm.
At some points you could get, like, we have people running out of gas because they just don't know there's not going to be another gas station, right? Or
Even
it
though
might,
the sign tells you.
even though it says that.
So-
But I get it. You might not be paying attention. You might be into maybe you're listening to our podcast and you're just like cruising along and you're like, oh shoot, because I'll tell you, I'll tell on myself. I've ran out of gas before, and it was really embarrassing. A firefighter had to go get me gas. It's actually in a pursuit.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's why you weren't there.
Yeah, right. No, I had to sprint the last quarter mile to the end of the pursuit because I ran out of gas. So that was not a great feeling, right? So trust me, I'm not immune to it. It's happened to me, but
You can run out of gas. Let's have a controlled environment where you run out of gas, where you can see how far your car can go.
Yeah.
Let's not just test it when you're taking a long road trip. So general rule of thumb I go by is if I hit a fourth of a tank, I find the nearest gas station and I go fill up.
Agreed. I mean, I might be a half tanker, but that's just something.
Yeah, but I wouldn't go.
Usually it coincides with my snack times. So
Yeah.
That too. So not only check everything, make sure you have emergency kits. I mean, have a jacket if you're cold.
Have a jack.
Have a jack.
Have a jack. Have a 4-way.
Have some water.
Right.
I mean, have the essentials in case something happens.
Yeah, especially seasonal stuff. Like we're talking about summertime road trips. Like if you go to the desert in the summer and you don't have coolant in your car or water to drink, you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah. Or even depending on winter, there's been plenty of times we've worked snowstorms and people will get stuck in the snow, or there'll be crashes and people get backed up and maybe run out of gas because they've been sitting there for hours because we literally can't do anything. And then when you run out of gas, your car's not running, and it's a very real threat. You could freeze to death.
Yeah, there goes your heat.
Right. Be prepared for those things. And in the summer, same thing. Your car breaks down, you don't have AC, you can get easily overheated. Have a plan, and do the best you can. Obviously, call 911. We're always happy to help you. But still help yourself, because sometimes it could be a long time before we get there. And then I'll tell myself again. We recently went on a road trip to Dallas together, our families, and have this sweet cooler. You plug it into your car, and it's an iceless cooler, and I put all my energy drinks in there, and my kids got milk and stuff and waters. And we went to eat, and I forgot to unplug it. And I'm used to it being in my patrol car because it just, it shuts it off. But in my actual personal vehicle, it didn't. So we come out and my car's completely dead. I didn't have jumper cables. This is me, and I'm here telling you guys these tips and tricks. But I'm I left the house without jumper cables or my little jump box. Thankfully, Tony was with me, and he had one. Right? If not, I would have been completely screwed. Completely screwed. So I'm saying, yes, we're giving you guys a hard time a little bit, but I'm preaching to the choir because I've ran out of gas, and my car's died, and I didn't have a way to drive.
Hey, learn from our mistakes so you don't have to be stranded. So.
Yeah, I mean, they make these cool jump boxes now, too. I mean, they're a little pricey, but you can get jumper cables. It's a jump box with jumper cables. You can charge your stuff. You can have an air pump in case, your tire goes flat. At least you could air it up and maybe be able to drive a little bit further to get off the interstate. But, I mean, they make these cool inventions now. So
let's talk about that, too. Don't be trying to change your tire on the side of the interstate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Limp that thing to the next exit so you're not getting ran over when you got your head on your car.
That, and I just think that's a great tip. For a lot of things. If something goes wrong and you can get your car out of the roadway or away from it, do it. Trust me, it most likely will not do any damage to your vehicle to limp it off. But even if it did, you are way better off doing that than taking the risk of getting hit. Because we've seen it. You are much better off bending a rim than you are getting smashed and injured. Trust me, it's not worth it. Just get it out of the road. It's a great point, Tony.
Yeah, we can shoot. We'll make a small video and show you how crazy it gets on the shoulder of the highway.
We can just
do that.
Get some clips of
how
many times we've been hit.
Dash cam of cars getting hit all the time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So move away from the highway or, any fast-moving traffic.
So road safety and driving tips.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that pretty much speaks for itself,
Yeah.
Rotate your drivers. Make sure you're not falling asleep. I know a lot of you like to sleep while one drives. I get it. You got to do what you got to do. But the best tip would be if you're driving, have a front seat passenger that's awake with you so that driver doesn't fall asleep as well.
Yeah, that passenger responsibility is navigator and snack hander.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Don't be snoozing on your drive.
Sorry, Jess. I snooze on her so bad.
Yeah, you know.
I'm like the worst road trip.
My wife does too, but I take a quick nap. Well, you know. Only on the straight ways.
No, I'll actually like.
Don't do that. That's
to be more
dangerous.
serious about it, though, I actually will say this: like, how many times at work do you guys say they're either drunk or they're sleeping?
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
while we're working, literally,
Yeah.
like every when I'm I'll get behind someone who's weaving, and I'm like, they're either drunk or they're tired.
Yeah.
That's what it looks
Or
like.
maybe on their phone.
Or on their phone. Yeah,
That's
drunk, tired, on their phone, and obviously, like that should tell you plenty. Like, your driving is as bad as a drunk driver, and you're endangering yourself and others just the same. Really, like.
Yeah, and believe it or not, we get called on that too. Like, we think there's a drunk driver, blah 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 blah, and we'll come find you. And sure enough, you're driving like that, but it's not because you're drunk. It's because you're falling asleep, or you've been asleep for a while, and that's how you've been driving. I've seen
By the
that.
grace of God.
Yeah.
Seen that happen, and luckily my lights and sirens woke you up, and
Yeah, it's not
And
worth
stopped
it.
it.
It's
It's
not
not.
worth
Yeah,
it.
that's
Like,
wild.
in plan your stop. So if you know you're prone to get tired, so like, I'm a terrible road trip partner because I can sleep in the car, just can't, and so we make sure to like plan our drive to like I'll drive the first half, and then she'll drive the second half. So definitely, if you're planning a trip, plan your stops. So if you know you're prone to get tired, plan a stop. Say, okay, this would be a nice place I can find a rest area or whatever. Now that's a whole other thing about keeping yourself safe, but we'll cover that in a different time. But
Don't drive tired.
Yeah, just
get
don't
good
do it.
sleep before you go, and don't eat a huge meal. Don't want to get that food coma halfway down the.
I don't know. My father-in-law would say, let's just make the trip all in one. So 22-hour road trip, there and back one day.
Wow,
That was fun.
a
Yeah.
long day.
I do like a driven man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we went from Central America, Central United States, all the way up to almost Canada and back. I mean,
Likes to get things done.
all for a car. Miss Bessie. He knows what he's talking about.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I gotta meet this Miss Bessie. So the other thing, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here so I don't ramble on. I'm really trying to work on that. So next thing we could talk about with this, traffic safety and driving tips and stuff. Obeying the speed limits, right? How many times you guys can ask, how much over can I go before you'll stop me?
Oh yeah.
Right? Like that's a question that we could ask a lot, and my answer is the same.
Yeah.
Just go speed limit. Like every officer is different. We use our discretion. Like everyone's different, and the law's a law, so obey the law, right?
Yeah, check the speed limit signs. Like different states have different limits, even on the same interstate.
Yep.
Right, so
pay attention.
Yeah.
And then the last little bullet point here we had to touch on was wildlife. Watch out for deer and whatnot. We get called to a lot of car versus deer here in our area, or whatever. So be paying attention to that, and don't swerve.
Yeah, don't swerve to miss a deer.
It is much better
Just to hit it.
just to hit the deer, damage your car. Maybe you won't even damage it. I've seen that.
Yeah.
But it's hard to prevent. A deer jumps out of nowhere. If you don't see it, we get it.
Yeah.
It happens. But you swerving, you tend to cause a lot more damage to yourself than just hitting that deer. I mean,
Or the potential of hitting someone else, or you never know, depending on the area too. So, yeah, just hit it. Like my dad, he was better at hitting deer than he was at hunting them. Like I remember growing up, and my dad would like show up with deer that had been hit by cars, and he's like, "Yeah, it wasn't bad. I'm right there." So he would literally like. Mind you, he was a cop at the time, so he would go to these calls, and he's like, "Yeah, it was fine, so I just loaded it up, and he'd strap it down on his hood and bring it home." I guess that's what you do when you got 4 kids to feed, man.
Yeah, hey,
So.
whatever. You remember that car versus horse crash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
That was a wild one.
It was wild.
I don't know where I was going with that, but
I know.
yeah.
But we've seen Carver's horse, Carver's cow.
Carver's
Yeah.
cow.
Oh, the wild one whenever they got out of the trailers from Stockyard City. Remember that? And like they were like, and there's like black Angus cows. No lie, at the Amarillo. So it's like major interchange. There's black Angus at night, right? And so these people are calling in like, "There's cows everywhere," you know. And I'm like, "No way!" Turns out, they had been trailered up, and the trailer came loose. They opened up the door, and they were all over the interstate.
Yeah. Ground beef.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty common. So if you ever drive through Oklahoma, Interstate 40 by like Agnew, the stockyards area, cows get out of their trailers on the interstate all the time. So just if you drive through there, be prepared for it.
Yeah, that one.
Weird.
Yeah,
We had a donkey in the road the other day.
Oh.
Did I tell you about that? No. We were driving through Edmond. There's a donkey on the loose running down like Covell. It's like, what the
Is
heck?
it where the donkey and llama farm is?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I didn't know what to do. It was
Hello.
like midnight.
Jokes I want to make, but I won't.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say them.
It's okay.
Why not?
I'll
Yeah.
I'll save them for another time.
All right. Loose donkey in Edmond.
I lose my ass all the time.
That's a good one.
That's a mom joke.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready to move on?
Yeah,
Let's move on.
All right. Next up, entertainment and vibes. Okay, so anyone who knows a good road trip, you got to have a good playlist or good podcast to listen to, right?
That also falls on the navigator.
It does. It does. I like to play a game where like I pick a song, Just picks a song, then I get to pick a song, and whoever's in the car, like they'll get their turn, so I'm not a dictator of the playlist. That's a fun game to play. But I do like my podcasts, though. I'm a podcaster, but it makes Jess fall asleep, so.
Well.
Anyway, plan it out. Find something that you all like. Download some games or something. Like, for me, with our kid, like, I didn't do this our first round because I was like, I'll have my internet, but you lose internet. So downloading some stuff for them, like on an iPad or something, can be helpful when you're about to lose it and they're losing it, and it'd be nice just to have something to
Sometimes, man, iPad.
I know.
Sometimes, when you're on a road trip to show.
But I mean,
you need to experience this instead of, the little screen right in front of your face.
I agree, but I mean, they are
get
like
it.
toddlers.
Nap time, everyone's cranky.
Yeah. And like, I found like my son doesn't always appreciate the things that I appreciate right now, and rightfully so.
Well, you didn't when you were a kid either, right?
No, but I had siblings to punch and stuff. I get it, he's going to be an only child. I can't have more than one. Yeah, we've decided. Well, he's got Cody.
Yeah.
They can hit each other. So, play some games.
We're
right?
We're not promoting
Yeah,
baby violence, or there's no toddler fighting ring circle or anything.
No.
It's just
No, they just,
kids are kids.
yeah. I mean, I had 3 siblings that we're lucky we all survived it. Let's be real. Like, stop touching me.
I'm lucky I survived my parents. Jeez.
True.
No offense, mom and dad, but
A couple more things you already hit on, like maybe bring some games. Think of some games, write some stuff down. It keeps you alert. It's always nice to help pass the time, but it helps us with the driver staying alert. So,
yeah.
food, gas, and lodging strategy. This kind of goes back to what we've already touched on, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I'm really trying to work on not being repetitive because it's annoying. Plan your trip. Know where you're going to stop. Tony doesn't do this, which would stress me out. He just like tries to find a place once he gets there, and I don't know how he does that. But he at least has a general idea.
Yeah.
But it
drives my wife nuts.
Yes. I'm sorry, Sarah. It would drive me crazy too.
Yeah.
But have a plan. So, like we already hit on, know your route, have a backup, know where you're going to stay, have some stops kind of pre-planned. Like if you're a foodie, plan like my mother-in-law, find the restaurants you want to hit on the way, and if you want to dine for 3 hours, you go ahead. Do your thing. But plan it all out so you can take as much guesswork out, and you don't feel as stranded if something were to go wrong. You have a general idea of where you're going and what you're wanting to do.
Also share that knowledge with someone that's home-based So, like, if you do get in trouble, at least they know, like,
Yeah.
okay, I need to figure out how to get to Alaska to recover these people instead of,
Yeah,
Right.
share your GPS. I mean, you can go on Apple Maps or whatever maps you use. You can actually share your GPS with someone, let them know the routes you're taking, let them know the time you're expected to be there. I mean, things can fluctuate, but at least a generalized time of, hey, I'm going to be there around 8 a.m. So if, somebody doesn't hear from me around noon, they probably...
Yeah.
Yeah, because believe it or not, people crash en route, and then, they may not be conscious to share that information.
Yeah.
So
that kind of goes into our final point, the unexpected situations.
yeah.
Sorry about that. Unexpected situations. You guys already kind of started talking about that. I would say if you don't know how to just be honest with yourself. If you don't know how to change your tire, or you don't know if you're not mechanically inclined and you don't care to learn, that's okay. I'm not judging you. You don't have to, but have roadside then. Like, you need to be willing to pay for a roadside service or something that can assist you in the event that something like that happens. If not, and you don't want to pay for that, or it might not be available, I highly recommend you learn how to change a tire. I highly recommend that. But like I said, if not, make sure you pay for the service that can help you.
If you have a young driver, teach them how.
Yeah.
Or find someone to teach them how. Or at least watch a YouTube video on how to change a tire. Emergency personnel. We'll help you if we can.
Yeah.
But that goes bottom tier on the call list. So something else comes up, they're gonna
A higher priority call.
they're
Like
gonna
a
bounce.
collision or something like that. That call is going to come first.
Yeah, so you could be there for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm speaking from experience, I've worked crash to crash. That takes priority over a flat tire. And I mean, your call's still in there. Like, we still know you're there unless you've called in and told us that you've left, or the wrecker, whoever else has told us that. But I've shown up 4 hours after somebody has called in that they have a flat tire, and they're still there. And I walk up.
Sometimes takes a long time.
They do, but I mean, I'll walk up and I'll, like, hey, what we got going on? Just trying to get the full story. And it's a flat tire. They haven't changed it. They don't know how to change it, and they haven't called anyone else.
And sometimes they don't even know if they have a spare. So that's the other thing too. Like, I know there's a lot of run flat tires, and a lot of vehicles don't come with spares now. Know if that's your car. If that's your car, and I would definitely highly recommend roadside service if your car doesn't come with a spare. But I would consider maybe getting one before you go on a road trip and put it in your trunk. Whatever you got to do, take it with you. Yeah, everything you guys hit on. Know the equipment in your vehicle and know where it's at. Some people don't know where their spare's at. Sometimes it's underneath the car. Just know your vehicle.
Yeah. And wear your seatbelt. Like, if you're asleep in the back seat, put your seatbelt on. If you have a crash, you don't want to end up flying through the windshield.
And please don't put your feet up on the dash.
Yeah, that's another common thing. Like, ladies like to put their feet up on the driver or passenger side.
Dudes do too, Tony. Dudes
Maybe
put their
so.
feet up on the dash.
All right, well, don't be that dude.
Yeah.
Because like right underneath your feet is an airbag, and you're gonna eat your knees in about a hundredth of a second.
Every time I see that, like, even if we're just like passing and I see people with that, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh goodness, please don't do that. Or they'll like put their feet out the window.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
You don't like drive by and give a tickle?
No. All I can, like, it honestly just like replays all the terrible things we've seen.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that's
I'll be picking that up off the road later.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, So please don't do that. The only other thing, like, we kind of made a note here, was avoid conflict. And where I'm going with that, road rage.
Yes.
When you're on the road for a long period of time, or any period of time really, and people are going to do things that maybe you don't like, or you feel like they cut you off, or whether it's intentional or not, don't engage with it. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. If something happens and someone's following you or behaving like that, call 911. Maintain do not stop and engage with them. Like, you call 911, you get someone that, and drive to a police station. Have your passenger put in closest police station, and while you're on the phone with with a dispatcher or something, drive to where they're directing you. If there's an officer close, they'll come and assist you. But if not, put in your GPS, close to the police station, drive to the police station. So many calls we get, and people end up ruining their lives, really, over stupid stuff because someone cut them off, or they thought they were purposely slowing them down, or whatever, and it ends up ruining people's lives.
Yeah, and it's just dangerous. People, we're in Oklahoma. Like, everyone has a gun in their car.
Yeah.
You know, if you get out to mouth someone because they cut you off, they might see you as a threat and dump a couple rounds in your chest before you get, can figure out what's going on. So it's not worth it.
No.
Yeah, safest bet is to drive to a police station while you're on the phone with the dispatch, and you'd be surprised that chances are if you take that exit, you're going to separate yourselves anyway, and it's no longer going to be an issue, and you can go back to wherever you're going.
Yes. I would highly recommend you do not let someone else's behavior escalate yours, and keep a level head. It's not worth it. And when I say that, we've all seen stuff that could have been handled at a much lower level get escalated, and I get it, emotions get involved, and sometimes it can, I'm not immune to this either. We've been driving and someone's in the left lane impeding the left lane, and we're all like, please get out of the left lane, right? But man, it is what it is. You're going to get there. I mean, someone slowing you down for 5 minutes isn't really going to make that big of a difference. So just...
Yeah, if you're that mad, eat a Snickers. Helps me.
Is that a commercial?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah. You're not yourself when you're hungry.
Yeah, eat a Snickers.
Yeah. Snack time.
Shoot.
Works for your kid, right? Your kid's a little monster. Give them some food and they're good.
Yeah.
Life Lessons by Tony.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our tips and tricks for road tripping in the summer. I'm sure we could do a winter edition. We kind of hit on that a little bit, but just be prepared. And to wrap it all up, what we all said, be prepared, have a plan, let someone know, and enjoy it. Enjoy your time. Don't let someone else or anything else take you away from the time with your family or whoever you choose to road trip with. With that being said, next week we're going to do a law enforcement inspired topic. That just means it'll be more catered to our law enforcement listeners.